This is a sad moment, boys, but also not really. It kind of is a sad moment because this is the end of Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D, the final mission, the final season. Welcome to my review of Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D Season 7. My goodness, am I just sad, but also happy. It's a weird feeling that I have right now, because to be honest, I didn't want this to end. This show was overall absolutely fantastic. Hey, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This show is fantastic. Yes, it has some bumps along the way. Not everything is perfect. You have Season 1's first half. You have Season 6, which, you know, a lot of people kind of see as seasons. Like the first half of like what should have been a full season. As in, these two seasons should have been one. Season 6 and 7. We should have had one season called Season 6, and the first half should have dealt with the S.H.I.E.L.D stuff, with some of the Chronicom stuff in the background. And then the second half should have dealt with, you know, the time traveling stuff, because that's what we're doing this season, boys. We are time traveling. We are going through the timeline, and if you think that that ruins the MCU, you just wait till you get to that finale, or I think it might have actually been episode 12, maybe 11. You know what? No, I think it was actually 12. No, it was 11, which is actually also titled after a Spider-Man movie that won't come out for another like 6 years. Still, it's a brand new day. In that episode, the reveal happens, and there you go. That's just it. For anyone who is a little bit slow, this one actually works really well with Endgame, actually. It actually takes cues from Endgame in order to tell its story, which I'm a big fan of. By the way, this also came out 6 years ago, technically, but 5 years for me, in 2020, which was after Endgame had already come out. So they could base their storyline and what they were gonna do based off of Endgame stuff, because their time travel already happened. But I love this season. I'm just gonna come out right out the gate and say it. I love this season. This season is fantastic. Now, I still like Season 4 more, but it's slightly more. This is the second best season this show has to offer, and I will also forgive their Season 6, I guess. I understand now why Season 6 was lesser. Season 6 was there to explain the monolith so that we can have Season 7 have this big farewell. But also what I love about this season is just the time periods that we go through, the way that it just tells its storyline, and the fact that since the beginning of Season 6, this whole season kind of already seemed to be planned out. So then let's get into the cast so that we can get that out of the way, so that if there are any more thoughts that are not spoilers, I can talk about them. Starting off, we have Clark Gregg back as Phil Coulson. How was that possible? Dude died at the end of Season 5. Well, actually, in between Season 5 and 6. Well, it's an LMD. It's a live model decoy combined with Chronicom DNA or tech, I guess, in order to be able to create this new Coulson. Because for this final mission, we needed Coulson back, even though he is dead, sadly enough. Now, this is not a spoiler, because this was revealed at the end of the last season. That was how the season ended. Coulson just woke up and we went through time, baby. Anyway, next up, we have Ming-Na Wen back as Melinda May, doing really good in this season, and also giving us something special that you would have never guessed from Melinda May. After that, we have Chloe Bennett back as Daisy Johnson, also known as Quake, and she is great this season as well. She ditched the purple, boys. She ditched the purple hair stuff, and it looks so much better. Now the purple's only in the suit when we see the suit, and it is good. Very much a big fan. Then we have Elizabeth Henstridge, which I think actually is how you pronounce it, if I remember correctly, from like another episode where they have a whole intro and they say the name. Back as Gemma Simmons. Now, before anyone says yes, Fitz isn't really gonna be appearing in this season. There's a story reason for it, don't worry about it, but Fitz doesn't really appear, so I'm not gonna say the actor's name. I mean, he is once again still good, obviously, but like Fitz doesn't appear for majority of the season. Maybe the actor had some other obligations in order to do, but they were able to work it really well into the storyline. Big fan of what they did. Then we have Henry Simmons back as Alfonso Mackenzie, or just Mac, being the leader that he is supposed to be. Fantastic. And also, you know, he works well with the new Coulson being able to be the leader that he needs to be. You know, being able to ask for advice, but basically having Coulson as his right-hand man works really well. That's just what I want to say. Then we have Natalia Cordova Buckley back as Elena Rodriguez, also known as Yo-Yo. Really good. Problem is, I don't actually remember if that was at the end of season 6, so I don't know if that's a spoiler, but she's got a problem that needs to be solved in this season as well. And then I guess for the starring cast, we have Jeff Ford back as Deke Shaw, being really good as Deke Shaw. I very much like Deke. I'm so happy that, you know, the whole multiverse stuff, which actually funny, since this season and also the last season, but no, season 5 and this season kind of dealt with like multiversal stuff, you know. It's funny because that is what the next saga is going to be. So weirdly enough, even though Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is done before the next saga begins, it still somehow has a little bit of tie-in, and it does it way better than the multiverse saga ever does. Anyway, I'm not done with the cast yet, because next up we have Joel Stauffer back as Enoch, being really fun and great to be around, to be honest. Yes, he had a little bit of a betrayal in season 6, but he's back on the team, and he's here for most of the season. This is actually, he should have been part of the starring cast, looking at the fact that he is very much in this season. And then finally, we have also a villain. We need to talk about the hero. We also need to talk about the villain, boys. And we have Tamara Taylor as Sybil. She is the, what you could call the leader of the Chronicoms, and she is the main villain of this season. Now, this gets revealed later on, but I still wanted to talk about her because, you know what, she's an interesting villain, because basically what we are fighting this season is time. Because of the fact that the Chronicoms know the timeline, they know what is going to happen and stuff like that. We have to fight against that, because they want to go back in time in order to ruin stuff so that in the future S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist. Now, if you watch Endgame, that's not going to happen. That's not what happens, but still, that is basically the plan that the Chronicoms have, and we need to stop them. And I love the way that the season like plays with the time periods as well, you know. Even the intros to bad. Like, there's one episode where they have an intro, like an actual intro, and I kind of wish that they changed the aspect ratio, though. Just a thing. I forgot to talk about the spoiler talk, but I wish they like changed the aspect ratio for the time period that we were in. That would have been really good as well. Just a maybe that's just a me thing, but big fan of that. Also, I said something at the end of season 5 that I would like to take back. I don't know if it was the spoiler talk or the review, but I said at the end of season 5 that you can see that as the season or the series finale. No, you can't. Season 6 and mainly season 7 are very important to this storyline as well. So no, we're not gonna cut that out. Even though they do not reference the snap in season 6, and here they don't really have to, you know? They don't really have to. We're going through time, so the snap hasn't happened yet. But like, I don't care, okay? We're just gonna have to pretend that the places that we are in just have less... No, we're less affected by the snap than other places. So yeah, let's just go into final verdicts then, shall we? Because I can glaze this season all I want, but that is really for the ending of the spoiler talk. So my final verdict for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 is going to be a 10 out of 10, boys! Yep, another 10er. Oh god, we're not gonna get many of these in the next saga, though. We're not gonna get many of these in the next saga, I will say that right now, but I love what they did with this season and the way that it wraps up the show. It even goes into explaining some stuff that happened. We get reasoning where we never needed reasoning. It's like, oh, that's why that character did that. Oh, now, like, we get some backstory that was never there, but we didn't need that backstory. And also, by the way, outside of the stuff that is changed because of this season, the other stuff was all canon to the original MCU, obviously. So if a character killed herself, that is what she did in the original timeline, even though potentially that gets stopped in this season. Potentially, for you know, like, just an example that I came up with, you know. But, I love it, dude. I love this season, and it's the end of an era. It took me also, I would like to, I don't want to admit this, but I will. It took me 13 years to complete this series because I never watched this season. I watched all the episodes up until, like, episode 7. Episode 7 was the last episode I saw because I became, sadly enough, a non-believer. I did not take the Stanley words to heart. I did not become a true believer. I became a non-believer because of the fact that with Endgame, there wasn't really a connection to the Marvel TV stuff. Everyone was talking about how everything wasn't canon, and, you know, yeah, that whole debate. Who cares what those people say? They are brain dead, okay? Yes, I will start a war with them. They are brain dead, okay? But I, sadly enough, went in that direction as well, and now I'm back, baby. I'm a true believer again. Ever since I started these videos, by the way. It's actually, I hate to say this because the show isn't good, but thanks to Echo, I am once again a true believer. That is what fully brought me back in the fold. Like, I have a Word document dedicated to the MCU's timeline in that sense, where everything takes place. I even made one for just the movies because of the fact that I thought this wasn't canon, because the toxic people got into my head. But they are now out of my head, and I am just a true believer now. So don't worry, Stanley. In your memory, I am still a true believer. But also, I will say this, and I don't care what anyone else's opinion is. It's just the MCU will lose a lot of awesomeness if they delete these shows from canon. Yes, they made the Netflix era stuff canon, which I'm happy about. But like, all of this stuff is canon, and if it's not, then it will lose a lot of my enjoyment of the MCU. Like, I literally lost a lot of enjoyment from the MCU because I thought this wasn't canon. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix stuff and all the other stuff. But now that I know that it is canon again, and I don't care what anyone says, I'm a big fan of this show. And also the MCU again. It's made me fall in love with the MCU all over again, and I'm finally happy that I'm finished it. But I'm gonna end it here. I got a lot more to say in the spoiler talk, so potentially watch that one. And thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if that's already, turn on notifications. Don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. Also, just a little thing before I end the video, and that is the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me gets like a 10 out of 10. The whole show, by the way. Even though, yes, it had its lower moments, I'm still a big fan of it. And also, technically, this is the best MCU show. However, my personal bias will still pick my favorite as being Daredevil, okay? But this is technically the best MCU show. And I'll see you guys next time in the MCU's timeline for, well, Doctor Strange wasn't wrong. We are in the end game now. Bye!